Hello everyone, this is part 2 of chapter number 2 Psychology class plus 2. The topics that will be covered in this part are self-concept, self-esteem, self-efficacy and self-regulation. So first of all we will start with self-concept and self-esteem. And both of them comes under cognitive aspects of self. Cognitive means thinking aspects of self. Both of them are cognitive aspects of self. But first of all, we will talk about self concept. Self concept is the way we perceive ourselves and the ideas we hold about our competencies and attributes, what we can do and what we cannot do, what are our qualities, our features. All right, that is self concept. At a very general level, this view of oneself is overall, and it can either be positive or negative. For example, a child may have a very positive self concept regarding sports. He feels that he's a very good cricketer, he is a very good athlete. That is his positive self concept. He feels that he can play cricket very well. Okay, and on the other hand, he may have a negative self concept regarding studies. He feels that he is very weak in mathematics or in English. That is his negative self concept. That is his own ideas or beliefs. So it is basically a collection of identities, collection of beliefs or ideas that we carry throughout our lives. And these identities, these beliefs are constructed from experiences and the influences of environment and others. Means these are shaped. For example, a negative self concept that a child holds that he is not good at mathematics or good at English, that comes from his experiences in the classroom. All right, so this is self concept, and this is one of the definition of self concept given by Purke. According to him, self concept is the totality of complex, organized, and dynamic system of learned beliefs, attitudes, and opinions that each person holds to be true about his or her personal existence. Means self concept is basically very complex. Each and every person has his own ideas, beliefs about himself. It is dynamic, it keeps on changing. All right, and it is basically your attitude, your belief about yourself. So, if we talk about self concept, no person is born with self concept. As we discussed earlier, that no person is born with self, it grows. In the same way, self concept also grows as a person grows old. This means that our perceptions, our beliefs, our ideas, they can be shaped, they can be altered, and can also be affected by environmental factors. So, in this sense, self concept is actually a product of socialization and development. It is an understanding you have of yourself that is based on your personal experiences, your body image, your thoughts, and how you tend to label yourself in various situations. It is the awareness you had of yourself in the past, the awareness you have of yourself in the present, and the expectations you have of yourself at a future time. Means what you were, what you are, and what you will be, what you can be. All right. So it is basically a collection of beliefs you have about your own nature, about your qualities and behavior. This is self concept. And a healthy self concept will help you to get ahead in life. Healthy self concept means you should have a positive self concept. It will help you to get ahead in life, to be successful in life. A healthy self concept will allow you to maximize your potential and get the most from your strengths, talents, and abilities. On the other hand, a weak self concept will hinder your progress. It may lead to depression, it may lead to stress, anxiety. All right. So, a healthy self concept is the key to success. So, everyone should have a healthy self concept that will help you develop confidence level, that will help you develop confidence in your abilities, in your strengths. So, this is self concept. Now, the next cognitive aspect of self is self esteem. And self esteem can play a significant role in one's motivation and success throughout one's life. It is actually a realistic and appreciative opinion of oneself. Realistic means accurate and honest, and appreciative means positive feelings and liking. So, as defined by Stanley Cooper Smith, self esteem is a personal judgment of worthiness that is expressed in the attitudes we hold about ourselves, means what we are worthy of. As persons, we always make some judgments about our own value or worth. This value judgment of a person about himself or herself is known as self esteem. Actually, self esteem is not a self concept. You might be getting confused here, but it is not a self concept. It may be a part of self concept, but self esteem is not a self concept. Actually, a high self concept will lead to a positive self esteem, whereas a low self concept will lead to low self esteem. For example, a child who is always being scolded for not doing well in mathematics or in English, he will develop a low self concept. He will develop an idea, a belief that he can't do well in this subject, he can't do well in this field. So, in turn, he will have low self esteem. He will feel that he's not worthy of this. He is not worthy of doing well in mathematics. Okay, so this low self esteem may hold you back from succeeding at school, in academics, in sports, at work, because you don't believe yourself to be capable of success. You don't believe yourself to be worthy of success. And in turn, this low self esteem will lead to depression, to anxiety, to stress. Okay, so just like a positive self concept is required to succeed in life, in the same way, a positive self esteem can help you achieve your goal. It can help you accomplish your goal. So it is basically like roots of a tree. When life challenges us, a healthy self esteem allows us to stand firm. It allows us to believe that yes, I can do this. I am worthy of this. I deserve this. On the other hand, if our self esteem is low, we may find ourselves shaken, which in turn will lead to depression, to anxiety, and to certain mental disorders. So, healthy self esteem is the key to success, just like a healthy self concept. Studies also indicate that by the age of 6 to 7 years, children seem to have formed their self esteem at least in four areas. And these four areas are academic competence, social competence, physical or athletic competence, and physical appearance. Means they develop their self esteem, they develop their value judgment about themselves very early. Now we will discuss about the behavioral aspects of self. There are two behavioral aspects, that is self-efficacy and self-regulation. And we will start with self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is another important aspect of ourself. And people, they differ in the extent to which they believe they themselves control their life outcomes, or the outcomes are controlled by luck or fate. For example, passing an examination. Many students, they believe that it is a matter of luck, it is a matter of fate. But many other, they believe that if they will work harder, they will succeed, they will pass. So a person who believes that he or she has the ability or behavior that is required by a particular situation, that person demonstrates high self-efficacy. So, in other words, self efficacy is a person's belief in his or her ability to succeed in a particular situation, whether he can actually succeed in a real life setting or not. It is a belief in your ability to control your own behavior, your emotions, and motivations. It is your ability to solve a problem, to reach a goal, to complete a task, and to achieve what you set to do. Okay? For example, a student who has a high level of self-esteem in mathematics will feel confident in his ability to do well in a tough statistics class, even if he is not particularly skilled in this field, in stats. But his strong self-belief, his strong self-efficacy can help him, give the motivation that will help him to succeed, that will help him to reach his goal. So, this is self efficacy. Now, the next behavioral aspect of self is self regulation, and it refers to our ability to organize and monitor our own behavior. It means it is the ability to control, to change, to modify our behavior according to the situation. And people who are able to change their behavior according to the demands of the external environment, they are high on self regulation. There are many situations of life that require resistance to situational pressures and control over ourselves. And this becomes possible through what is commonly known as willpower. As human beings, we can control our behavior the way we want. And that is called self control. That is called self regulation. It is learning to delay or defer the gratification of needs. And self control, it plays a key role in the fulfillment of long term goals, whereas the lack of self regulation will lead to many problems. It is easy to see how a lack of self regulation will cause problems in life. For example, a child who shouts or hits other children out of frustration will not be popular among them. He will not be popular among his friends. Whereas an adult with poor self regulation skills may lack self confidence and self esteem and will have trouble handling stress and frustration. And often this might be expressed in terms of anger or anxiety, and in more severe cases, it may be diagnosed as a mental disorder. A number of psychological techniques of self control have also been suggested by a number of psychologists. There are three techniques that are there in your syllabus. First is observation of own behavior, self instruction, and self reinforcement. Observation of own behavior means one should observe his own behavior so that he should be able to know that which behavior is right and which is wrong. And this provides us with necessary information that may be used to change, to modify, or strengthen certain aspects of self. Means if one will observe his behavior, then only he will get to know that this behavior is actually not appropriate. Okay, so this is the first technique. Second is self instruction. We often instruct ourselves to do something and behave the way we want to. Such instructions are quite effective in self-regulation. Means that is your own resolutions that I will do this, I will not do that. That is self-instruction. And self-reinforcement, that is the third technique. It involves rewarding behaviors that have pleasant outcomes. For example, you may go to see a movie with friends if you have done well in an examination. So, these are the techniques of self regulation that will actually help you in controlling your own behavior. Now, the next topic is culture and self. In this, we will study how culture affects the ideas, the beliefs, the attitudes of a person. So, we will study about two cultures here. One is Indian and the other is Western. So, Indian culture is basically collectivistic. It means in Indian culture, the self is generally not separated from one's own group. Rather, both remain in a state of harmonious coexistence. Alright, whereas in Western culture, it is individualistic. Means self and the group exist as two different entities with clearly defined boundaries. Individual members of the group maintain their individuality. So that's why it is called individualistic. So as you can see here in the picture that according to Western perspective, there's a boundary, there's a line between an individual and group. And this line, this boundary appears to be relatively fixed. Means an individual is different from his group, an individual is different from his culture. He has his own principles, his own norms. Alright, that's why Western cultures are characterized as individualistic. Whereas in Indian perspective, self is a part of culture. An individual is a part of culture. He follows the norms, the rules and regulations of his culture. Alright, that's why Indian culture it is characterized as collectivistic. So individual lives, works and behaves according to his culture. So this is the effect of culture on self. And this is all for today. I hope these topics are clear to you. We will meet once again in the next part of this chapter. And in the next part, we will study about the concept of personality and we will do type approaches of personality. Till then, take care. Thank you.